7 News. Coverage you can count on.
A coating of snow and some ice causing crashes this morning. A car and school bus swiped each other on Siebert Road. That's right up from McKnight Road in Ross Township. And also in Ross, a crash shut down a section of Babcock Boulevard. This is right past the block at Northway, and you can see a pickup truck slammed into a utility pole. The impact cracking the pole. You see there, it is leaning.
And the Channel 11 traffic tracker was out on the roads during our morning newscast when a big rig jackknifed on Route 65 right at the McKees Rocks Bridge. Police say about 100 gallons of diesel fuel spilled from the rig. 65 was shut down in both directions for about 3 hours right during the rush hour. Several fender benders also backed up traffic on Route 28 this morning. Fortunately, no one was hurt in any of the accidents.
And that's a reminder that it really only takes just a little bit of snow to make driving really tricky. Meteorologist Jessica Faith tracking some changes for us in Severe Weather Center 11. Jessica?
And we see the snow still on buildings, on branches, on the ground. You can even see it behind me. Looking live right now from our tower cam on the buildings, like I mentioned, 30 degrees, so cold enough to support keeping that snow frozen, also refreezing on the roadways, so keep that in mind. I am tracking changes on the way going into next week, so we have a pretty active week ahead, and there's a possibility for a white Christmas Eve and a white Christmas. I'll break down all of those details that you need to know and give you a sneak peek about that white Christmas. That's all coming up in just a few minutes.
And after seeing all the morning crashes, we sent Chopper 11 up to check on the roads. We spotted a driver having trouble in Brookline. You can see the road still covered from Wednesday's storm. And just around the corner, we saw a snowplow, the truck spinning its tires. So if your road is still covered, be patient because the plows are still making the rounds.
In the past hour, the Allegheny County Health Department released an update on COVID-19 cases. They've learned of 27 additional deaths. Those date back to November 20th. Health officials also say 827 new cases were reported since yesterday. The youngest patient, a 1-week-old baby.
Oh, that is heartbreaking. It is a big day for a lot of our local frontline workers. They're getting their first round of COVID-19 vaccines. The first shipment of the Pfizer vaccine arrived at AHN hospitals yesterday, and a few workers got the shots early. Hospital officials say it has been a really long 9 months, and it has taken an emotional and physical toll.
And about 9 o'clock last night, I got a text from our director of our emergency department that just was amazing. She said, "This was the most uplifting day in 9 months. The excitement and hope was palpable. This is the first day most of us will drive home without crying all the way."
The state anticipates weekly shipments of the new Pfizer vaccine. Healthcare workers and staff of long-term care facilities are the priority for the first round of vaccinations.
Vice President Mike Pence got the first round of the COVID-19 vaccine this morning, along with his wife and Surgeon General Jerome Adams. The on-camera event, part of an effort to build confidence in the vaccine. Also, the Moderna vaccine is close to public distribution. Both vaccines are considered extremely effective, and state officials say they can't get them fast enough. NBC's Tom Costello has the developing details from Washington.
A good day from Washington. So the vice president today receiving that Pfizer vaccine along with his wife, really in a demonstration of confidence in the vaccine process. That comes the same day that we expect the FDA now will move very quickly on authorizing the Moderna vaccine. Now, yesterday, this outside FDA advisory panel recommended that the FDA go ahead and emergency issue authorization for the Moderna vaccine. It's thought to be just as effective as the Pfizer vaccine. And in fact, the government has already ordered 200 million doses. The first 6 million of those Moderna doses will roll out next week as more Pfizer vaccine doses roll out as well. One concern has been some states are complaining that the amount of vaccine that they are supposed to be receiving next week has been cut. Now, the federal government, the Trump administration says that's not true, that in fact the doses will be spread out across the week. But some states are saying, no, our doses, the volume of our doses is down by 30%. Nonetheless, now, as we go into the end of the year, some 20 million Americans are hopefully going to have been vaccinated by December 31st, and then the pace picks up into the new year. Much more throughout the day on NBC News. I'm Tom Costello in Washington. Back to you.
President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris say they'll receive the vaccine in a public setting in the coming weeks.
Congress is facing a midnight deadline to reach a deal for another round of coronavirus relief aid. We could also face a possible government shutdown if both sides don't settle on a government funding bill. The next round of aid is expected to include more individual stimulus checks for $600 a person and $300 a week in unemployment benefits. But there are still several sticking points not agreed upon yet. Democrats are making a last-ditch effort to get more money to state and local governments, and Republicans are working to limit the power of the Federal Reserve to bail out businesses and local governments.
We've known him our whole lives, and he's such a great guy that he's not one that deserves something like this.
Neighbors are reacting to a tragedy. We told you when 63-year-old John Vici was hit and killed by a snowplow Wednesday, and since then we learned he was trying to help someone else when he was killed. The accident happened in North Versailles. Vici was using a snowblower to clear the snow off his neighbor's driveway. County police say a township snowplow was backing up when it hit him.
It's awful because we're all very close, and it's something that we're all going to miss him very dearly.
The driver of the plow truck that hit Vici has not been charged.
And we're getting our first look at the evidence that was found during a drug bust in Beaver County. That bust happened yesterday along 14th Street. This picture from the Beaver Falls Police Department shows the evidence police seized. It includes cocaine, heroin, handguns, and cash. One person has been charged. Governor Tom Wolf has granted a 5th extension to renew firearms carry permits. One local sheriff says it's necessary.
Westmoreland County Sheriff James Albert told our partners at the Trib the closure of courthouses and sheriff's offices makes it impossible to renew permits. The extension was set to expire on December 31st. It has now been pushed back to the end of March. In the past 45 minutes, we got a response from Family Dollar after calls for one of its company stores, its local stores, to shut down. At least 4 workers claim they were forced to work at the Braddock location after coming into contact with a coworker who tested positive for COVID-19. The employees told Braddock's mayor they're worried for their health, but they're also worried about being fired.
And before I could even reach out to the coworkers in the community, they contacted me. And I was like, this isn't good at all.
We have confirmed the Allegheny County Health Department is investigating the claims. In a statement, a company spokesperson says, out of an abundance of caution, we temporarily closed and deep cleaned our Braddock store due to health precautions after learning of a positive test result. The company says it also did contact tracing of potential exposure and notified associates accordingly, and says its safety protocols follow CDC guidelines.
Rescue mission on the north side is serving hundreds of people a Christmas meal today. They set up a tent outside the mission and they're making deliveries. Channel 11's Serafina James has more on the changes the mission has made to keep everyone safe.
During the pandemic, the Light of Life rescue mission has certainly lived up to its name. This year, the nonprofit has seen a growing need for shelter and meals. And as the holidays roll around, they say there isn't a shortage of men, women, and children who need their support. So on Friday, through the mission's Christmas outreach program, and with tents to help keep people socially distant, the organization is doing what they do best, showing up when people need them the most.
The mission has around 50 volunteers that'll be serving hot meals throughout the day that include ham, potatoes, and corn. Along with a hot meal, everyone who comes in will either get a McDonald's or a Wendy's gift card, along with a hygiene kit and winter wear.
We believe that hope starts with a meal. Hope starts with a night of shelter. And so no matter who's coming to us, we believe that that meal can lead to a conversation that leads them to taking a next step to help transform their life.
Anyone who is in need of a hot meal can stop by the mission between 12 and 2 or 4 and 6 p.m. And coming up at 5, the mission is also going mobile today. I'll tell you where else hot meals are headed and the volunteer that's making it happen. On the north side, Serafina James, Channel 11 News.
Nearly 1 in 20 Pennsylvanians are food insecure. That's more than 630,000 people. The State Department of Labor and Industry says a lot of those cases are linked to the pandemic. In our area, the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank is one of many programs stocked with food and ready to help. The food bank says it has been able to keep up with the high demand and rely on local, state, and federal assistance.
Since the onset of the pandemic, we've seen an increase in demand of about 42%, with a 57% increase in children experiencing food insecurity.
If you and your family need some help, local food banks, food pantries, and soup kitchens are open and ready. And we have a list of them on WPXI.com.
The Greensburg Catholic Diocese now has a new bishop. Pope Francis appointed Monsignor Larry Kulik. He has been working as in an interim position since Bishop Edward Malesic took over as bishop in Cleveland a few months ago. Monsignor Kulik is familiar to folks in Westmoreland County. He's been a priest in New Alexandria, and this is special for him because he was born, raised, and has served in the Greensburg Diocese his whole life. His ordination and installation is scheduled for February 11th.
A local woman accused of intentionally coughing on people after claiming she had COVID. The charges that could include jail time.
I can't sit on my hands anymore.
This local restaurant owner is restarting indoor dining. How he's justifying breaking the rules.
We still have snow on the ground, but could our next chance for snow be just around the corner? Well, this weekend, we could see some snow showers. I have the latest storm tracker, and we'll show you what to expect next.
The owner of a Washington County restaurant is making a bold move, defying state orders by opening for indoor dining.
I'm going to do something completely outside of my character. I'm going to open my restaurant on Friday morning.
Michael Pasalacqua owns Angelo's restaurant in Washington. He says he and his workers cannot afford to follow state COVID-19 rules, which shut down indoor dining until January 4th.
My employees cannot go 3 weeks to 4 weeks to 5 weeks to 6 weeks, because nobody knows when this is going to actually be over, without making any money, particularly sacrificing the busiest 3 weeks of the year.
I think that they're really hurting themselves. They're putting themselves at risk. I think they're putting their staff at risk.
State Health Secretary Dr. Rachel Levine says defying the state orders puts the public at risk.
New information now on small businesses. Many of them are in danger right now. We started going through a new survey conducted by the National Chamber of Commerce, and here's what it found. It provides a grim outlook from many of these businesses that have already taken a big hit this year. The majority of small business owners said that they expect more difficult times ahead in 2021, and half of them say they can only operate for a year or less.
I'm going to start scratching my head and asking myself, is there any juice in the tank to, really resurrect this?
Congress is trying to approve a coronavirus relief bill, which could pump hundreds of billions of dollars into the economy. Small businesses will likely be a part of the rescue package in the form of forgivable loans. Business owners say without it, they'll be forced to close.
A woman is accused of intentionally coughing on workers and merchandise at a liquor store in Westmoreland County. According to police, Leona Warman took off her mask, coughed on 4 workers at the store in Rostraver, then coughed into her hands and touched more than 300 bottles of liquor and wine.
I don't know if she was tested for it, but it not only affects, people who come into contact with it, but it affects their families too.
The store was closed for 3 hours so it could be cleaned and disinfected. Warman faces at least a dozen charges, including simple assault and reckless endangerment. It's still not clear whether she or the workers have been required to take a COVID-19 test.
More Americans are masking up. That's according to a survey released today by the Kaiser Foundation. 73% of those questioned say facial coverings are part of everyone's responsibility to protect the health of others. 23% said mask wearing is a personal choice. As for the COVID-19 pandemic, 51% believe that the worst is yet to come. Twitter says it will begin removing posts that include false claims that the virus is not real. It will also take down debunked claims about the effects of receiving vaccines and baseless claims that suggest immunizations are used to harm or control people. If people send tweets in violation of the rules, they will be required to delete them before they are able to tweet again. The new policy goes into effect next week.
The latest Kaiser Family Foundation survey finds nearly 3/4 of Americans would get the COVID-19 vaccine, but that number drops to roughly 50% among African Americans. Samantha Manning with our Washington, D.C. News Bureau spoke one-on-one with the U.S. Surgeon General, and he says he understands the concerns.
A new survey released this week revealed Black Americans are among the most hesitant in the country to take the COVID-19 vaccine. The U.S. Surgeon General told me he understands the hesitation, but wants to reassure all Americans that the COVID-19 vaccines have been tested for all communities. When it comes to conducting medical clinical studies, the U.S. has a dark past, leading to distrust among communities of color. I spoke one-on-one with U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams about the challenges in gaining public confidence.
You have to acknowledge that a lot of people have good reason to be distrustful of the government and scientists and physicians. The Office of the Surgeon General actually was in charge of the Tuskegee study that was infamously putting African Americans at risk for diseases several decades ago.
The Tuskegee syphilis study started in 1932 and lasted for 40 years. The federal government deceived the Black men who took part in the study. The participants were told they were getting free medical care, but really didn't get the proper treatment they needed for their illnesses. Dr. Adams says the federal government has been engaging with faith leaders and historically Black colleges and universities to reach communities still distrustful of the process underway now.
Helping people understand that we have the Office of Human Research Protections. We have independent data and safety monitoring boards. We have protections in place to make sure things like Tuskegee can never, ever happen again.
The clinical trials for Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine included more than 3,000 Black Americans out of 30,000 participants. In Washington, Samantha Manning, Channel 11 News.
You're your severe winter Team 11 forecast.
Temperatures this midday still very chilly, really just right around freezing, maybe a degree or two better than that. We're at 36, the big winter right now in Washington, 30 degrees in Pittsburgh and in Greensburg, right at freezing, 32 Butler and 32 Beaver, so still very cold outside. Take a look at the current road temperatures, right around freezing as well. So we have the air temperature and the road temperature cold enough for refreezing of anything maybe melted on the roadways, also to keep the snow and ice frozen. So just keep that in mind as we go throughout the rest of the day. Temperatures staying right around freezing this afternoon. Plenty of cloud cover. Won't take long after sunset to get back into the 20s tonight. We could see a few flurries this afternoon, little to no effect, and actually most of us will stay completely flurry-free and calm for the rest of the day. That also goes into Saturday. High pressure builds in, keeping things nice and quiet. Maybe you've been inside the past few days because of all of the snow out on the ground. Well, tomorrow, if you want to get outside, because hey, it's the weekend, tomorrow is your day. I am tracking a chance for some snow and rain coming into the forecast for Sunday. That may be the day that you just want to stay inside. And then Monday, we're looking pretty much good to go. Saturday is a good day to get outside for another reason. We're going to have some warmer air filter into the area, rising our temperatures 40 degrees for the high. I know that may not seem like a big achievement, but when you think about for the past few days, we didn't really get out of the 30s. We didn't get really above freezing. Tomorrow really looks like a breath of fresh air before we see more snow possibly for Sunday. Here's Storm Tracker here Saturday night, 8 o'clock. Still looking quiet. Those snow showers come overnight. Maybe if you have an early start, you'll run into a few snow showers. Keep that in mind. By the time we wake up by sunrise, just a little after sunrise, could be seeing some snow on the ground, additional snow. We already have snow on the ground, and maybe an isolated spot of some flurries. Second half of the day really looking quiet, but some rain is possible, maybe even some wintry precipitation like some sleet in some locations. So that's just something to watch as we go into the weekend, and we have many systems to watch next week. So we do have that chance for snow and rain on Sunday. Quiet for Monday, and then Monday night into Tuesday we're looking at another shot for some snow showers. Now stick around for the next half hour of news. I'm looking at a possible white Christmas, and we'll show you that possibility on Storm Tracker. You're going to want to see that because we not only have the possibility for snow Christmas Eve, but also Christmas morning.
Thinking outside the bread box, the 8-foot Christmas tree made of bread that you can see at a local bakery.
And they are found in everything from remotes to toys, even some holiday cards. The warning that comes with these small batteries. A petition to save the Point State Park Christmas tree is gaining ground. At last check, it was nearing 6,000 signatures. Duquesne Light sponsors the tree, but plans to retire it to preserve the historic ground of Fort Duquesne. We spoke with Pete Linko, who created the petition, and he says the tree brings hope and joy to Pittsburghers every year, and he hopes to have 20,000 signatures by the end of the year.
This can be really fast. This can really critically injure a child and be fatal within a matter of hours.
They're found in so many toys and gifts, these little button batteries, and families really have to be careful when unwrapping their gifts next week. Each year, poison control centers get more than 3,500 reports of children who swallowed batteries like that. Doctors say they can get stuck in their throat and erode the tissue. So some tips: keep those batteries out of sight and away from small children, and check the screws on toys and devices that children touch. Also, don't wait if you think your child may have swallowed a battery.
The most important thing you can do is to go immediately to your closest emergency department. Don't delay care.
Parents can call the National Battery Ingestion Hotline or contact Poison Control if you have questions.
We're thinking, oh, let's just get all the kids immunized. Well, you can't do that.
Pfizer's COVID vaccine is not approved for kids, the critical new step in their testing.
Conditions quiet right now, but next week looking a little bit more active with snow chances. Are you looking for a white Christmas? Well, I have the details and let you know what to expect.
So there were a few fender benders in our area this morning. A light dusting of snow and those cold temperatures made the roads pretty slick.
And we will jump the freezing mark today. Meteorologist Jessica Faith has her forecast now at Severe Weather Center 11. Jess?
Yeah, so we are right around freezing across the area. Temperatures now in the 30s. We were in the 20s this morning. So that means all during the first half of the day, we've had possible refreezing on the roadways, anything that has melted. If you see anything that may look like liquid on the roads, it may actually be ice. It's fooled me before. And also, as we go throughout the rest of the day, temperatures really not moving too much from where they are right now. Take a look at your screen. You see it for yourself. We have temperatures below freezing, above freezing, and at freezing. Beaver right now at 32 degrees. The good news is going into the weekend, we are doing a little bit better for Saturday, warming up a bit. Sunday, cooling down a bit, but your focus really may be on next week because of snow chances we could see on Christmas Day. I have those details and more coming up in just a few minutes.
COVID-19 vaccinations are already underway for adults, but testing on children is really just getting started. So the big question is, will the COVID vaccine be safe for your children? Mara Ansari spoke with the experts to get the answer.
A lot of people might not realize that the immunizations being developed right now are intended for adults.
I think people are thinking, oh, let's just get all the kids immunized. Well, you can't do that. This vaccine has only been really studied in the 18 and over population.
According to the Association of American Medical Colleges, child vaccine research advocates understand why COVID-19 efforts have prioritized adults. They have suffered the vast majority of known infections, severe illnesses, and deaths. But a growing number of doctors and researchers are sounding alarms that the nation cannot beat COVID-19 until it inoculates children.
I think it is really important. So we know that kids are getting COVID, and we know that a small number of them are going to get really sick. So vaccinating kids will have some benefit to them.
Pediatrician Dr. Chris Bryant says vaccinating kids will make it easier to open up schools, kids playing sports, being around friends and grandparents. Trials with children under 12, including infants and toddlers, still needs to happen.
I think it'll be the same vaccine. We will need to know the right dose for children, the right schedule, how many doses do they need.
And it's going to take some time to conduct those trials and gather that research. The hope is to have a vaccine ready for kids by the next school year.
Leaders at local school districts say an alarming number of students are not taking part in remote learning. The superintendent of New Kensington, Arnold, told the Trib only half of all junior, senior high school students are regularly participating. 35%, they say, are not engaged at all. He says their issues are not technology related. The district plans to send progress reports to parents to remind them that students are expected to participate no matter how classes are held.
Local colleges will have some new COVID-19 rules when classes resume. According to the Pittsburgh Business Times, Pitt plans to start the spring semester virtually on January 19th. Carnegie Mellon has delayed the spring semester to February 1st. Duquesne and Robert Morris will both start the semester with a hybrid format. All the schools say they plan to eliminate traditional spring break plans and that they will keep dorms at limited capacities.
Steelers hoping to get back on track Monday night. Minka Fitzpatrick telling us that starts with the little details they've gotten away from recently.
What are the conversations like in the locker room, especially this week, as you guys kind of look to snap this skid here?
I think conversation is more detail-oriented. It's more solution-oriented, because if you're just talking about the problem the entire time, then nothing's going to get done. But we have a great leadership in Coach T and our OC and DC and from the vet guys. So, you know, we're a very solution-oriented team, and that's what we're going to focus on and avoid all the negative talk and the stuff that y'all be talking about. We'll leave it to y'all.
And if there was ever a bounce-back game, that came at the right time for the Steelers. It's Monday night against a bangled-up Bengals squad. Defensive coordinator Keith Butler has faith his guys will be able to right the ship against Cincinnati.
This game's a big game for us. If we win this game, then obviously we're going to be winners of the division. And that's the biggest thing for us right now, is trying to win this football game. And, you know, everybody that's going to be in it is going to be in it to win it for sure.
The Steelers can clinch the AFC North this weekend with the Browns' loss or a win over the Bengals.
It's getting down to the wire 1 week until Christmas. A look at some of the most popular last-minute gifts next.
Have you finished your Christmas shopping yet? If the answer to that question is no, you're not alone. According to a new survey from Retail Me Not, 90% of Americans say they still have some shopping to do. And one of the most popular last-minute gifts is something techie.
NBC's Liz McLaughlin shows us some tech gifts for everyone on your list.
It's the final stretch for holiday shopping, but there's still time to get gadgets for budget-friendly stocking stuffers, with prices dropping on voice-enabled products.
A lot of these smart devices and even smart plugs are coming down well under the $10 price point even.
Stocking-sized speakers are also popular this year. JBL has new Palm portable models under $30, the Go 3 and the Junior Pop for kids.
Harness the power of the sun.
Another one for the little ones on your list, Solar Bots, cute robots that can teach kids about solar energy for under $15.
As they are exposed to the light, they power up and then they start, roaming around.
For a very last-minute present, skip the wrapping with the gift of a new skill.
I go out into the world and I don't know what I'm going to discover.
Photography classes are particularly popular this year, according to The Strategist. Among its recommendations, the Art of Street Photography course from Magnum Photos for just under $100.
People who've taken it have called it one of the more motivating classes that actually gets them on their feet and engaged in the subject matter.
A subscription box is another idea, with gift options for everything from beauty products to kids' crafts to adult beverages, such as Eater's new Wine Club, with an artisan 2-bottle box for $70.
They work with sommeliers at their favorite restaurants to curate a monthly box of those sommeliers' favorite wines.
a virtual gift for a socially distant holiday to say cheers to the new year. Liz McLaughlin, NBC News.
And there are still sites with 1- and 2-day shipping options if you are ordering online, but it is risky this close to Christmas. Might be a better idea to buy online and pick up at the store to avoid any shipping delays.
Did you ever go to answer your phone and it only rings once? There's a chance that call is from a scammer. Our consumer advisor takes us through how one-ring scams work.
We are constantly getting robocalls. Some are legit, but you find out when you answer them, a lot of them are scams. But what about the calls that don't even give you enough time to answer? Our consumer advisor Clark Howard has more on the one-ring scam.
Your cell phone rings. It rings just one time and then the call stops. So what we do a lot of times without thinking about it is we just redial the last number that tried to call us. Well, that's how people scam you out of money big time. You know, on a cell phone, doesn't matter what area code, right? Because calls are free. But criminals have figured out manipulating you with a lot of countries outside the United States that use our area code system, and who knows where area codes are, right? So when you do that thing where you redial, you can get hit with a massive phone bill right from the first minute. So the FCC has been trying every possible way to stop this one-ring scam, but the protections they put in place just aren't enough. So you and I have to protect ourselves. Just because you missed a call, you better know who it is who's calling and where they're calling from before you call that number back. I'm Clark Howard.
Your your severe winter Team 11 forecast.
Still have snow on the ground. You can probably see why. We're below freezing, so it's cold enough to keep the snow sticking around for a while, at least on the ground. Nothing falling from the sky, but we do have those thick clouds in the horizon there, and you can see the snow quite pretty as we look outside downtown Pittsburgh, and quite beautiful as far as the snow is concerned. We could warm things up a bit going into the weekend. We do warm up a tad today, maybe 5 degrees above where we are now, 35 degrees for the high. Could see just a few more flurries. Little to no chance, though, and any flurries you may see will be light, little to no accumulation. So keeping it pretty quiet today, quiet this weekend thanks to high pressure. And if you do plan to go out, tomorrow would be your day. Again, we're quiet, nothing falling from the sky, mostly cloudy, but we will be warmer, lower 40s for the high, which is warmer than we have been all this work week. So that would be your day to get outside. We do have another chance for some snow. Even though we already have some on the ground, we have another chance for snow on Sunday, mainly first half of the day, with less activity going into the afternoon hours. So if you do have to be outside Sunday, the afternoon hours will probably be your time. Monday, we're looking quiet. Now, let's shift all the way ahead to Christmas Eve. I am tracking a pretty strong system that could be moving through Christmas Eve into Christmas Day, bringing the chance for first some rain, with a quick transition for some sleet into snow with very cold air behind it. That may be the next topic going into next weekend that we talk about, because these temperatures already, just looking ahead, these temperatures could get quite cold. But I know I've had a lot of questions about, can we see a white Christmas, and the possibility is there. Now, keep in mind, we're going to continue to fine-tune this forecast. We are 7 days away. Things could change, but right now the possibility is looking pretty good. Here's Christmas Eve, looking at a good bit of snow for our area. Let's look at Christmas Day. I'm going to make it advance, and here is Christmas morning, right around sunrise, looking at flurries sticking around, and we are looking at more flurries now than what the models were showing this morning. Again, things will continue to moderate with the forecast. So what is a white Christmas? A white Christmas is at least 1 inch of new snow on the ground on Christmas morning by 7 a.m. The last white Christmas was back in 2017. We had just a little under 1.5 inches. We can also see some flurries on Tuesday, so stick around for that.
I think we all deserve a white Christmas this year. Thank you, Jessica. Now here's local steals and deals, Lisa Robertson.
What I have today is going to make a big difference in how you feel about yourself, and that's because it gives you a beautiful smile. Super Smile is a line that was created by Dr. Erwin Smigel. Now his wife and daughter, Lucia and Belanca, are the passionate people at the forefront of the brand.
My husband was the one who developed tooth bonding.
My dad was a legend in dentistry, and growing up, my brother and I really didn't know that at first until we got older and we would start going with him to dental conventions. We would go over to different booths and they would fill our bags up with toys and presents and things because we were with Dr. Smigel. My father was doing bonding on a lot of his celebrity patients and his regular patients.
And with bonding, it used to stain very, very readily.
So he and my mom, who was the CEO and is the CEO of the company, decided to form together with a chemist and make a toothpaste that would work, be gentle, be safe, be effective, and would whiten the teeth. And they found an ingredient and they mixed it together with another formula, and they called that formula Calprox, which no other toothpaste in the world has. It wasn't made just to whiten the bonded teeth, it was made to whiten all the teeth, natural teeth, bonded teeth, caps, veneers, all kinds of teeth. And that's how Super Smile began, with just that one toothpaste.
Thank you so much, and I'm so glad that we're able to really let everyone know about Super Smile. And I love that we have a lot of great options for you. We have the full-size day-to-day regimen with whitening and really healthy teeth. We have that amazing proprietary technology and a sonic toothbrush. So many great ways to have a clean, healthy, beautiful white smile. This is all 20% off on localsteals.com, and it's one of the best things you can do for yourself to make sure that you always make your best first impression with an absolutely beautiful smile.
Well, outdoor dining provided a temporary solution for restaurants during the summer and fall months, but frigid temperatures and rising COVID-19 cases are making it harder to manage. However, a family-owned restaurant in Michigan has found a creative solution. Kim Camp.
When we had to close everything down, we noticed that people started just coming out here and sitting and having drinks, and then it turned into eating their to-go food out here.
Customers were spending hours in front of their giant outdoor fireplace after picking up their to-go orders, so they expanded, setting up what they call Shantyland. Everyone is invited to bring their own ice shanty to the lot, or for a small fee, you can rent one of the restaurants that the restaurant has available. And if all goes well, they plan to bring back Shantyland next year.
The Downtown Greensburg project created a way to help struggling servers, cooks, and bartenders. It's called the Virtual Tip Jar. You can use a form to find their Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, and then send them a tip as if you were dining out. Right now, there are 130 names on the list from bars and restaurants, and we have a link if you'd like to tip on the WPXI News app.
If you are Mancini's Bakery in McKees Rocks, a regular Christmas tree just won't do, so the store baked up its own. This 8-foot Christmas tree is made entirely of Mancini's famous Italian bread, and you can check it out for yourself.
Well, today we are celebrating Peggy Finnegan. After 31 years with Channel 11, today is Peggy's last day. She is retiring, but she will always be a part of this team and this community. The entire city is honoring Peggy. Today is Peggy Finnegan Day, if you haven't heard, in Pittsburgh. Mayor Bill Peduto stopped by the station Tuesday to make the proclamation. And we will air a special tonight celebrating Peggy Finnegan that starts at 8 o'clock tonight. You can watch it on WPXI Now and on our streaming apps. And Peggy, it has been an absolute honor and pleasure to work and learn from you since I got here 17 years ago.
Has it been 17 already?
And I can tell you, we're all going to miss you, and you are welcome to come back and visit anytime. Please do.
Well, Gordon, I want you to know that it has been such a pleasure to be your co-anchor on the Noon, and I have such respect for your talents. You have so many abilities. You've proven yourself as a reporter in the field. You are rock solid as an anchor on the news desk. I feel really honored to have worked with you, and I do mean that sincerely. I'm happy to call you not just my colleague, but I think of you and your wife, Bobby, as my friends, and that is really special.
This is about you. This is not about me.
No, it's not.
This is your day. This is Peggy Finnegan's last Noon newscast, but you'll see her one more time for our 5 o'clock news with David Johnson. We'll see you then, and until then, happy Peggy Finnegan Day, everyone.